Hi team, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk you through a search that took place for Red, who went missing for 6 days in the New Forest area. She's a cockapoo that's 3 years old. Red went missing when a group of runners spooked her, and as she ran, they carried on running. She then ended up running further into the New Forest and was lost. So this happened on the 2nd of May, and on the 4th of May we received a phone call that evening to go and assist in the search. So this is what's happened so far. So on the 2nd of May, as I mentioned, Red was spooked on her dog walk and took off. A few hours later, Red was seen close to where the owners had parked the car, but as the owners approached, Red was in survival mode at this time and she then took off. Another sighting was noted the following morning on the 3rd of May near a campsite not too far away from where Red was last seen and where she was spooked. On the 4th of May, as I mentioned, we were called in to assist the search. The New Forest is in Dorset and it's a no-fly zone for drones, so we knew that this was going to be a ground search, at least for the early part. So that evening we went out to meet Red's owners and we had a look around the area. It was a bit later on in the evening, so it was quite dark, but we got a feel for where the car was parked, and we decided it would be a good idea to set up a feeding station with a camera to monitor. So we did just that, using some of Red's favourite foods and some of the owner's scented items. We then did a scent trail leading in various directions that led into the feeding station, and then we left the area nice and quiet for the night. We monitored the camera via a Wi-Fi link to our phones over and during the course of that evening and into the next morning. Unfortunately, Red wasn't seen and the food was left untouched. So now we're on the 5th of May and we heard of another sighting that had been made by a passing car close to a road where Red had gone missing from. So we did a little search of that area, and then we decided the best idea was to potentially set up our next feeding station to be monitored by the camera close to the campsite where she had been spotted the morning after she had gone missing. So that evening we set up another feeding station, monitored it with our camera, and again left scent trails leading into that feeding station. Unfortunately, the New Forest has really poor reception and the camera struggled to stream anything back to us live. So the owners the next morning went to visit the feeding station where all the food had actually gone, took the camera and downloaded what they could from the memory card. We decided that there wasn't enough information and that perhaps the camera had missed some activity that night. So during the rest of that day, the owners then posted as far as they could, spoke to a lot of the dog walkers, spoke to a lot of the local community, posted in the local Facebook groups, and just tried to raise the awareness. We decided actually that we wanted to really understand what had eaten the food the previous night, so we set up the feeding station exactly the same, in the same location, again with all the scent trails, but we managed to find just a slightly different position for the camera, which still monitored the area we wanted to monitor, but gave us better signal. So we're now into the morning of the 7th of May. We got good reception from the camera and we did manage to monitor the station all night, and the food had been eaten, but we managed to ascertain that that was actually done by deer. However, we then got a phone call that there had potentially been a sighting the evening before. So we took off to that area just to have a look at where the sighting was. Apparently, a dog walker had potentially seen Red dart from a bush across the path, quite close to some housing and into an open area of the New Forest once again. So we went down there to try and see if any of the houses had any CCTV or Ring doorbell footage that would help us confirm whether Red had been in that area. Unfortunately, none of the houses actually had Ring doorbell footage or CCTV, so we couldn't confirm whether the sighting was in fact Red. What we did ascertain was that Red had died across into an open area and more than likely towards a river that was in the direction of travel that she was headed. We believe she may be using the river systems and the stream systems around the New Forest to track and to move about. Eye in the Sky is a not-for-profit organisation and we never charge owners to go out and help search for their beloved pets, but we do heavily rely on donations. So if you can donate anything to help our cause, please hit the link in the comment box and donate what you can. We massively appreciate it and it helps us to continue to be out there helping owners look for their loved ones. So that day the owners continued to poster the local area and then a wider area. And we decided to make a plan that evening we would use the last sighting, although it was 20 hours ago, to set the food station up, and again another scent trail. We were unsure whether Red would come back to that area, just because we believe if it was her, she was probably spooked, and it's highly unlikely she's going to come back to an area that she feels threatened in. But we had to make sure that we did cover that area anyway, just in case. So a food station was set up in exactly the same way as the other food stations had been set up. And this morning we checked the camera footage, and unfortunately nothing was seen. So great news, we've just heard that Red has been found quite close by to where we were searching, and right now we're on our way to finally meet her after 6 days.